Another type of geothermal, which we're not going to cover extensively in this class, I'm just going to go ahead and take a few slides to review it, are ground source heat pumps. So ground source heat pumps, or GSHP, or geothermal heat pumps, utilize the ground for heat rejection in the summer and as a heat source in the winter. Conventional heat pumps reject heat to the atmosphere in the summer and extract energy from the atmosphere in the winter. A few feet below the surface, the ground temperature remains nearly constant throughout the year. Using the ground as a heat source or sink for a heat pump allows improved performance over a heat pump using the atmosphere as a heat source or sink. Again, the Carnot efficiency for any ground source, the Carnot efficiency is just going to be the temperature between a hot and cold reservoir divided by the temperature of the hot reservoir. So you have here the heat pump Carnot coefficient performance, right, which we reviewed in thermo, and then we have the coefficient performance for refrigeration system. So the coefficient performance is basically a way to compute efficiency for heat pumps. It's a coefficient because the numbers are greater than 1, and since you can't have an efficiency greater than 1, we call it a coefficient. Then these next several slides are just examples of different types of system. Here's a ground source heat pump system schematic. You have some return air that comes into a condenser, and you have a heat exchanger here that has a ground source heat pump in order to be able to exchange heat to store heat into the ground. And basically the heat pump can be used as an air conditioner when needed or as a heat supply when needed. So that's the idea of some of these heat pumps is, and again, in the summertime it serves as cooling, and in the wintertime it serves as heating. And where the heat gets, where the energy gets stored or pulled from, is again in this court in the ground. It depends on the type. There's several types of systems. This would be what we would call a closed loop in a horizontal position. So again, you'd have to dig up the ground and install these the pipes in a different types of configuration. This one being a closed loop in a horizontal. This being a closed loop in a vertical, where again it just the loops go deeper into the ground. Here is a closed loop for a lake or a pond, if you wanted to use the pond to be a place to reject heat or accept heat from. And an open loop, which basically uses, again, a fluid here to store the energy. So this pretty much ends our chapter on geothermal systems.